I think it's really nice to be back among friends. And Boekie Woekie have given my book shelter over the years, and Jan Hetty and Rune among the first people I knew in Amsterdam. I wonder if there's are there any more chairs for people?
Chairs.
Chairs. Chairs. That they can sit. Well, I won't be reading too long anyway.
20 minutes.
Don't worry about it.
20 minutes, you said.
Yeah.
I'll be time.
Okay. Part of the point of the reading is this is coming out, but it's not yet here. And it's my new and selected poems, 1966, I hesitate to say. 1966. 1966 to 2020. So, and it's coming out at the end of November, and hopefully I'll be doing readings in Amsterdam in the new year sometime from the book itself. So this is a bit of a prelude to that event, and I'll read some very early poems and then some much more recent, and then do a fill of 2 or 3 poems from, let's say, my middle period. And okay. This is 1966 indeed, I think. In Mexico City, packed in a taxi like luggage, uncomfortable, like someone getting ready for Munich. How can I tell the driver I am not a gringo? I want to apologize for Vietnam, but not pay more than 5 pesos. Or miss my bus, or dare those faces out of the starving tenements, a bad man plagued by time. But taking a sudden corner, I give the driver all my change, and am no longer English or American. I am the rain that beats my face. This is a prose poem, also from the same period, late 60s, and it's a dream poem. It's called Night Thoughts. Each night before I go to sleep, I put on my thickest sweater, my climbing boots and snow goggles, because I don't know where I am going, maybe to climb Mount Everest from the Chinese side. My wife wears a red polka dot bikini and carries a parasol because she believes in a different kind of trip, wanting the creamy edges of the Pacific breakers to make the round tour of her beautiful, salty body. Once I bought her some climbing clothes and persuaded her to wear them. We both sweltered together under the noonday sun. A restless night. Next morning she said to me as tactfully as possible, "What did I tell you? I have to admit she is nearly always right." Sometimes I take off my crampons, lay my ice axe neatly by the side of my bed, take off my woolly mittens, wipe the sun cream off my cheeks with a face cloth, take off my windbreaker and heavy sweater, take off my cord trousers and long underpants, take off my check shirt and string vest, say hello to my St. Christopher medal, and slip it under the bed. My wife is very nice about it and says ritual is an important element in lovemaking. I am lonely among these snows, I am sick of the Chinese side. In my sleep I am apolitical, I am lonely with nothing to love but my ice axe. The wind roars round the North Pole like an express train permanently derailing itself so loud that even if I tried shouting, she wouldn't hear me on her South Sea island. Halfway across the world, the wind is drowned in the roar of the Pacific breakers, and when I wake for a moment, I am amazed to see she is sleeping peacefully and smiling. And in the 60s, I wrote a fair amount of political poetry, and surprised, that these poems seem to be recovering their relevance in the 2020s. This is, in Greece, one reference, Bouboulino Street, is where the secret police had their headquarters in Athens. And I mention a poet, Yannis Ritsos, who's one of the famous modern Greek poets. This is a guide to Greece, 1970. These are the Greek people vanished behind their faces. These are the olive groves, cancelled till further notice. Here is Mount Hymettos. It has become invisible. This is a stone, life-size copy of the Parthenon. This is the country, don't ask where the jails are. This is Bouboulino Strat, winding round and round the country. This is the rough Greek wine, it tastes of water. This is the water, it tastes of air. This is the air, it tastes of nothing. Where is your hotel with its air conditioning? Don't ask a policeman. This is collaboration. Here are two lovers with a policeman watching. This is the language, empty like a plague city. This is Athens. Nobody lives here. This is the language. You can learn it in a second. This is the language. Shouts when a man is beaten. This is the language. Screams when a man is tortured. This is the language. Weeps when a man is murdered. This is the poet of the language, Yannis Ritsos, 61, in prison on Samos, coughing blood. Here are the tourists taking photos of each other. This is, in the 80s in Amsterdam, this is a while further on, the finest housing department. The finest housing department. You are sitting at the desk of a housing official, and it is words she talks, she has the words. Her tone is one of sweetest reason, but the words, they seem to fade in air. She tells you she wishes she could help you, and her good intentions make you both feel good, and the way her tongue falls makes you feel helped already, and indeed you are helped to a cup of hot coffee as you sit there in your leaking boots and steaming anorak. She is one of the new generation of functionaries, so different from the crabbed old pen scratchers of the tradition. You'd hardly imagine it was the same job they were both doing. She is one where you feel the menthol on her breath as she strides close to you to read your record on the computer screen, and that flash of thigh you see in the slit of her gold-belted short black dress. Did that get browned on Crete this summer? She certainly looks like she was out to slay some minotaur in the echoing halls of interconnected departments in your mind. everything gets jumbled as though you had no walls between ideas. How kindly she tells you she cannot help you directly, but that she will be glad to give you a form to take to show to another department, and her accent falls on each syllable calmly, like a seagull landing on a frozen kracht. And the unfaltering play she makes of carefully selected sentences, coupled with the hissing damp outside and the airless comfort of that centrally heated office, sends you into a sort of pleasurable swoon. Only when you are back on the street, clasping a fawn and still homeless, does a certain basic despair set in that even the finest housing department could not cure, tinged as it is with those metaphysical askings that marvelously lend bureaucracy a symbolic function, as Franz Kafka knew, or as we used to sing at school. God moves in a mysterious way, in treble voices lifted in empty praise. And again, 1980s, my honeymoon with myself.
Excuse me.
Under the stars of Naples, alone at last, in the hotel I booked the queen-sized matrimonial suite. Friends and family gave me a great send-off. My aged mother, tears in her eyes, waving goodbye. I'm glad to see you finally settled. You weren't exactly the easiest person to live with. Great mother, I say, finally I've found someone you really approve. Yet, after all the excitement, I don't know what to think. Is it love that I feel, or did I just talk myself into it? Won't I get bored? And indeed, next morning at breakfast, in the hotel dining room, the atmosphere is a little subdued. Everybody smiles as they look at me. What must they be thinking? Suddenly, I'm a stranger even to myself. I look at myself, my downcast eyes. Will conversation always be this hard? And I wonder, did I make the right choice? Will I make myself happy? Should I have spent more time surveying the field? But as the mist lifts from the sea, like a curtain opening on distant islands, perhaps there is hope. A stroll along the cliffs might cheer my spirits. Still, the nagging doubt, I wasn't quite sure if I was a virgin. And then, like, I'm going to swing into more modern times. This is 2000. This is the Twin Towers in New York. This is Dust Sheets. I wrote 3 poems, a trilogy of poems about the attack on the Twin Towers in 2001. This is Dust Sheet. Like a pit of sacrifice, this sudden amphitheater where light pours down like rain, like rabbits in a headlight blaze. We're hypnotized by what we see, but do not yet believe. Like little puppets in death's hand fist, like all those dreams where I forget my lines, revealing what I always knew at heart, and this is what breaks the heart. How redundant we have always been on any weighty scene where governments and assassins tread the boards. Like a group by Auguste Rodin, a grey herd of citizens is driven towards the camera, yet petrified in monumental frieze by its Medusa lens. Like a Christo artwork gone dreadfully wrong, dust drapes the city, stopping our pause like a huge conspiracy. Fear of writing. This is from The Wolf Inside, which I published in 2006, a collection that Jan has some copies of. Fear of writing, the pollution of the white page, the lewdness, exposing myself to the world, best keep it to myself, the terror of error, doing battle with emptiness, riding the lance at my own impotence, a full-time Don Quixote, while others, no thanks to me, keep the world rolling on. When I lift my pen, the hair rises on my head. If I were shaggy like a wolf, it would rise along my spine. I feel the hair rising along my spine. Having nothing to say, I set down words. If I did not, I would howl. I am a wolf, and the fear of a wolf, a bundle of fear without fur, an ancient, scary creature. My voice echoes in the primal forest, deeply troubled by the fear of dying. While I write, I know I live. And I'll read 3 more poems just to round off. Okay, this is shorter than I thought. This is from Early Morning, my most recent chapbook. Shorter than I thought. I dreamt that death has a tailor's shop in Hackney. I ask him for a bolt of cloth to measure me for a suit. Pleased to have my custom, tells me he's kept busy these days. No matter, he has plenty of assistants, and recession is boom time for him. His business expands as other tailors close. Perfectionist, never misses a stitch, has everything sewn up. That's his motto. He takes my measurements, that'll be at year 5'8". I thought I was taller, I say. I'm known, he replies, for cutting down to size and snapping his fold-up ruler closed. He gives me one of his clenched trademark smiles. Long or short, he says, is something I decide. Every day, this is unpublished, this is new work, every day is a different day. I tell myself this to give myself courage. I'll return to writing, poetry of an 80-year-old. No disgrace, you do what you can, like Goya's painting of the dog, drowning or swimming, or just keep in mind the giant wave looming. I'm sitting on the Haarlemmer Plein in the June sun. There are children bobbing and weaving between the fountain jets or tilting their faces upward to let the water explode over them. I bend over my notebook, putting my trust in words as a swimmer does to the sea. A new poem. Love is the door, and love the key. Heaven knows what my second line will be. And this is Dante's Terza Rima, 700 years of Dante, and this is a poem, short poem. Dante's Terza Rima, how it runs like a ladder down the page, and you as reader climb down, line by line, hand over hand, or feet reaching for toe holds deeper down in the dark of the mind. This is the gulf of memory, seen from the squalid ruin of our time. We are one with our history, and the sombre pulsing of this verse booms through a mist of years, warning of hidden shoals. How, after 7 centuries, it still holds us like the mariner's skinny eye, even though our concerns may have moved on. No certainty you'll come out whole. Visionary shadows of the great dead, nailed to their fatal floors. And this is a plague poem. One moment, reading Camus in COVID time. One moment, it's called. At the heart of Camus' book, at the turn where the worst, the body count, the dread, takes a turn for the worse. Somewhere around the middle of his tale of a long, long pestilence, there's a moment of timelessness, of joy, gushing down or welling up. Which way joy? 'Tis a moment snatched from life, unaccountable, where the grey endlessness of everything is lifted like a damp towel from the face of a fallen boxer, and we escape the estrangement of the supermarket aisles, where the unmasked mingle with the masked in bad-tempered communion. And I'll finish with the White Cockatoo, which is an Amsterdam poem, really. The White Cockatoo. We're in the station restaurant in Amsterdam that looks out on platform 2. It's the scene of our first date. The White Cockatoo is still there after 20 years on its perch by the bar, looking like a bird that's seen too much. We come here for the Art Nouveau interior and the romantic angst of a railway station grand cafe, hardly for the service, though that has a certain entertainment value. That first time our Magret de Canard arrived cold after 45 minutes, as if they'd had to embalm it. Yet we hardly noticed the delay, holding hands across the table, and I thought, isn't this wonderful? But today, I'm looking out of the window where a train is just leaving, and it's as if the restaurant is pulling out, not the train, leaving the platform of certainties and a secure life. Just then, the cockatoo flaps on its perch and utters a cry like a guard's whistle, and I stand up and wave at the station we are leaving and at past and future at once, and then I sit down again, and you give me that old-fashioned look of yours I first saw 20 years ago. Thank you very much.
Donald, you went 2 minutes over the limit. Which means we have a right to hear one more poem.
Oh my God, okay. I mean, are people going for it? I mean, that's an issue. I'll see what I can do. Okay, I'll just read Hardly News. There's a little video of it somewhere circulating in the Great Void, which I'll try and put on Facebook later. A friend in Ireland made a video, not me reading, an actor reading it rather well. Hardly News. It's hardly news to anyone with eyes to see that the end of the world is at hand. The signs have long been there, but we still have to eat, even if the food tastes of nothing. So we made ourselves make something. Fried potatoes, salad leaves, no dressing, and a bit of fish, its provenance unknown. Sell-by date yesterday, the supermarket was clearing its stock, uncertain there'd be any fresh deliveries, not what you'd call appetizing, so we gobbled it down in a hurry, anxious not to be caught out by the end of the world with our mouths full. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
It's in conversation, I would say. And Jan Hetty Rune have put out a nice display of previous publications. I don't hesitate to mention it.
Thank you, Donald.
Yeah.